Okay. Right. Just to update you, a few things. The work at the moment, the work that you're supposed to be working on still counts for 100% of your GCSE, but it is really important. Not many of you at the moment are actually sending me pictures of your work, and that's quite hard in terms of I need to be able to see what you're working on to be able to help you. So you must make sure that you upload the work. Now, if I show you to start with, hold on 1 second. Just need to get rid of. So if I show you on Teams, can you see my screen now? Yes, good. Okay. So if I go to the Teams, if I go to Year 11, in Class Notebook, and this is where in Class Notebook, if you click on Class Notebook, there is a section right at the top there that says Uploading Images. And if you go across, there is an instruction sheet. I've done a PDF there that shows you exactly how to upload the work. It's a step-by-step guide. So bear with me while it just downloads. It's a step-by-step guide so that you can see exactly what you should do to upload your work. It tells you what you need to have. You need to have Teams, you need to have Lens, you need to have OneNote. It tells you that. And then in your section on here, if I go back, this bookcase here, the three little lines there, that's like the bookcase. So if I go back there and I go down, you've each got a section. So on that section there, if I click on Jamal, because you're in the room, you've got a section called I. So any work that you do, you save to that section I. I can then see it, and it's all uploaded in here for me to comment on. I can comment on it, and I can feed back to you. I really need you to make sure that you're doing that, just so that I can see the work and I can help you. It's very difficult being on the other end of a camera screen to actually not be able to see what it is you're doing. Now, hopefully you're all back to my screen now and you can see my drawing and my demo. Can you see my paints and everything? So last lesson I talked about, I had this image here and I had the work of Ian MacArthur. So what you need to do is not just do a single piece of work based on Ian MacArthur. Now, that was based on a photo looking at Ian MacArthur's work. It wasn't a copy of Ian MacArthur's work. That should have been done before. All right. When you've done that, you then need to go, right, which bits of that do I like? What do I want to take from that? Well, I like doing long-haired men. So that was what I decided to concentrate on. So I then, I quite like watching Game of Thrones and Aquaman. So I decided I'd concentrate on Jason Momoa. I took a drawing of his work. I took a picture of his work. So here's the photo. You can see there that I was working from. I've done the drawing, and then I've added, by looking at Ian MacArthur's work, I've then added images on top of my drawing, okay, in an Ian MacArthur style. Now, I then need to think about that. There's a few things I like about that. There's a few things I don't like about that. Some things worked, some things didn't. And it's really thinking about that before you move on to the next thing. So I quite like the fine liner. I didn't like the position of the dragon. It isn't symmetrical. It doesn't fill the page. I did a dragon because I did that picture is him out of Game of Thrones. So that's why I did the dragon. But I need to think about where I'm going next. So where I'm going next, last night I did a quick drawing. So I've concentrated on just getting the tones and everything correct, because remember, it's all about showing your skills. It's about showing what you're capable of. All right. I would say you need to have some images of the work of the person that you're working from around you as well as inspiration. So you can see, oh, what do they do? What am I going to do? So that you can see it. So what I've actually got, I've just been on my phone there, and I've just got pictures of Ian MacArthur's work on my phone so that I can use that to work from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some detail to the Ian MacArthur piece. And the reason I've gone onto this one, I don't know if you can see that very well, but I've gone onto that one because it's got colour on it, and I actually quite like working with colour rather than just all in black and white. So I'm looking at his colour images, and I'm going to work on my Jason Momoa. Now I'm looking at the photograph as well, because certain things, now I've got biro this time, not fine liner, and there is a good reason for that, because I've got biro, because I can then, on top of my biro, I can add watercolour. If I'd done it in fine liner, I couldn't add watercolour, because why couldn't I add watercolour if I used fine liner instead of biro? Anybody know? You should do. Why wouldn't you use fine liner and watercolour? If you did, you need to use the fine liner first, second, not first. It would bleed out, exactly. You can get permanent water resistant fine liners, but if you haven't got those, then you would do your fine liner first. So I am just following the length of the hair just to give me some shapes, because with Ian MacArthur's work, then he then goes to add shapes onto the top. All right, so I'm just getting myself some basic shapes, because if I look at Ian MacArthur's work, and I don't know how well you can see my pictures, but if I look at Ian MacArthur's work, it's all about shapes and pattern. So I want areas to be able to work that into. All right. Shariful, just for a catch up here of what we're meant to be doing. You worked in the style of your artist with one image, taking a photo and your artist work and putting that together. You then need to further develop it. So I've done a piece here, but I didn't like that one very much. So I'm now going on and taking another piece and developing another piece. I actually, although I'm working quite small here, I'm working quite small for two reasons. One, it's quicker for me to do the preparation for your drawing, so it doesn't take me as long, which is not a good reason for you. For me, it's a good reason because I'm only demonstrating. Nobody's giving me a grade on this. Nobody's going to mark me on this. But for you, you need to think about, right, what produces the best quality? And actually, if I think about it, it would probably be better working at this larger size, particularly when it comes to adding the patterns in. It's quite hard on the smaller size. The only reason, as I say, I'm doing the smaller size is I had to do the drawing last night in preparation for this. Okay, so you are further developing your artist work, taking the bits that you like from your previous work. So have that out in front of you, have your artist out in front of you as well. All right. You can, I would, if I was you, if you can't light box or print out, I would grid up my work and use the grid method to enlarge it, just so I'm making sure that my drawings are in the right proportions. So So what you're doing there is basically mixing two different tones. I'm mixing the artist's work in with my own work prints. All right. So yes, I'm doing a bit of black and white, and I'm doing some pencil. But it's the chosen artist that just the artist that I've chosen to work in the style of, rather than it just being my drawing. So I thought somewhere that I've got myself some water. Obviously, I forgot to bring it in. So bear with me while I just run and get my water. What do you do after? Well, these are all work inspired by the artist. It's not just a single piece of work by the artist. You're looking at different layouts, you're looking at slightly different techniques, you're trying different things. It isn't, you've got to get away from thinking it's just one piece of work. We're developing towards the final piece. All right. So here, Jason Momoa is well known for wearing pink, which is why I'm using pinks. And it's thinking about why you're using the colours that you're using. And I'm actually going to add some colour before I do any pattern. So I'm just adding the colour. Remember, it's skills all the time. I want to be seeing your skills. It's no good rushing it and saying, I've done it, it's finished, I've taken 10 minutes to do it. That's not going to get you the grade. All right. And at the moment, it's all about getting your work, producing your work at the best possible quality so that you can get your grade. All right. So I'm going to work some colour on top of here. And then I will go back then and I will put in I will then put in your put in the patterns and things over the top. Okay, but it's about thinking about the colours that I'm using. Why am I using those colours? As I say, for me, Jason Momoa wears a lot of pink, so that's the colour scheme I've decided to go with. Ian MacArthur does various different colour schemes, as you can see there. So you need to make your decision over why you're doing that. Okay, so what I want to see from you today, I want you to upload a piece of your work. I want to see that work so that I can see what you did last lesson. You have got 2 hours today. So by the end of today's lesson, at 11 o'clock, say 11:15, I want to see what you've been doing. All right, no excuses. At the moment, I've got hardly anyone. I think Jamal's uploaded me some work, and I think Armani, if I'm right in saying, has uploaded me some work. But I don't think I've seen any work from last week that anyone has done. So you need to make sure you're uploading your work. You need to know that you're understanding your artist and the style that they're working in. And it needs to be really good quality work. Anybody got any questions over what they need to be doing? All gone very quiet. So I'm assuming you all know what you're doing. You all know what you're working on, the artist that you're working on. Ideally, obviously, I'm doing Jason Momoa. Unfortunately, I don't know him. I can't take my own photos of him. But if I was doing something like shoes, I would use my own photos rather than using photos from the internet. If we are using photos from the internet, we need to make sure that they're good quality. And that we are always, remember, you are always showing me your skill. So you are always showing me exactly what you are capable of. Take your time. I would rather have an unfinished piece of work that was really good quality rather than something that is rushed, just to say that you've done something. So, Jamal, I don't understand your question. So after we develop it, what do we do after that? More development. You're going to keep doing. You can see I've done 3 pieces here based on long-haired men. So I'm not changing to some female or some punk style or something like that. I'm keeping it in the theme. And I would further develop it. So I'd take the bits I like from those. So, for example, I like the size of the first one. So I might do a similar image, that sort of size. But I like the pointillism from this one. So it might be that instead of doing the face in pencil, I decide to do the face using the pointillism there, as I have with the fine liner. It might be that I decide the colour I prefer to add is the painted colour from this one, but I don't know yet because I haven't finished it. So I'm just further developing. These are going to take you some time to do. I'm not expecting, I would prefer to have 3 stunning quality pictures in the style of your artist than something that is rushed and finished. I would say, I mean, I sat and did that pencil drawing last night. I would say that that pencil drawing alone probably took me at least an hour and a half, 2 hours. All right. It's about having good quality work. It isn't about just rushing to finish. It's about looking for all those formal elements. Remember those things you did in year 7? Line, tone, texture, pattern. That is what you need to be looking for, and that is what you need to be showing. All right. All the way through. That's what you need to think about. Nerman, are we using portraits to mix with the artist style? Not necessarily. If you're not doing, the reason I've done this one is it's hair. All right. It depends on what title you've actually chosen. All right. If you're doing shoes, no, you wouldn't be doing a portrait. If you were doing eyes, you may be doing an animal's eye rather than a person's eye. So you therefore wouldn't be using a portrait. You should. Last lesson we talked about narrowing down your title. So, for example, if you're doing hair, what sort of hair are you doing? Or are you concentrating on someone who's well known for their hair or for having different hairstyles? I've done a couple of pictures of Johnny Depp because in a lot of the films that he plays, his hair is quite significant. So you've got Edward Scissorhands, you've got Willy Wonka, you've got Jack Sparrow. So you need to start using those. Personally, if you're doing footwear, I would take my own photos. All right. They need to be good quality photos because the quality of the photos also goes to assessment objective 3 in your observation and how well that you look and take the photos. All right. If you have individual questions, I am happy to set up an individual Teams meeting if you want to show me your work and I can go through it like that. That is probably the easiest way to do individually. And I think it's something I may set up for next week's lesson rather than, because you know what you're doing now. You should be working on these. All right. I'm happy to remind you and go through any questions, but the majority of your time in your art lesson needs to be spent on your practical, not listening to me talk. All right. I'm recording this, so I'll put this on. So if you need to see it again, that's fine. And if you can speak to anyone else who isn't here, that would be fantastic. Can you let me know if you want me to actually go through your work individually with you? You can do that by email or on the chat. I don't mind. entirely up to you. I've got both systems open anyway. All right. Anybody got any more questions about today's work? So I need you by say 11:15, 11:30 at the latest this morning to have uploaded what you have been working on. All right. I want to see the smallest piece. I don't care. Quality is what counts. Use those skills that I know that you have. Okay. Looking for line, tone, texture, pattern. All those things need to be in your work, regardless of which artist you're doing. Okay. Right. So I'm going to let you leave now. You need to go and get on with some practical work. If you require anything, I am in school next Tuesday. If you need to email me something to get me to print it off to post it home, I will do that when I'm in school on Tuesday. So if you get it to me by Monday, that's fine. All right. Friday, it will just be a quick check-in session. You should have uploaded me the work. Okay. So I will put it on ClassCharts that you need to upload the work, but I would prefer the work uploaded to Teams rather than to I'd prefer the work uploaded to Teams rather than to ClassCharts. So Norman, it depends what the artist style is, and I'll need to speak to you individually about your work really. Because I need to look at the artist style that you're doing. So if you could send me your work and send me the artist work, that'd be fantastic. I can get back to you about that. Right, I'm going to stop recording. Can you make sure you're working? Any questions, let me know. All right.